Asian Americans beyond the model minority stereotype, the nerdy and the left out.
Cultivation theory. Cultivation theory helps explain the influence of media on its followers. It states that with more exposure to a stereotype, the more one will believe it and incorporate into their life. Originally created for violence on television and in video games, it has since been applied to other topics such as the stereotypical representation of Asian Americans. It has been found using cultivation theory that the online media has actually started certain stereotypes. This is due to the fact that the online media has so much presence in today's society that a stereotype could be spread throughout the world in just a single post.
Media representation affects how we see people of certain races, genders, and classes. In the instance of Asian Americans, the media has given them the classification of the best minority. This idea is known as the model minority stereotype. Oftentimes, the media showcases the Asian American population as technologically savvy, non-social, hardworking, and quiet people. The subliminal stereotypes of Asian women are that they are obedient sex objects for their male counterparts, whereas the men are usually portrayed as smart, humble martial artists. While we, as media viewers, know that people must have families, the media hardly ever portrays Asian Americans in family settings, favoring them for more business settings, especially those dealing with mathematics and computers. Although being portrayed as modern and intelligent may seem nice, it is deceptively so when shown in comparison to the media representation of other races such as the whites.
Common representations. The main stereotypical representations are known as the poor communicator/nerd type, the foreign stereotype, and socially reserved stereotype. Foreign and poor communicator stereotypes stem back to World War II propaganda and prejudice, while the nerd and socially reserved stereotypes are more recent, stemming from the late 70s large influx of Asian immigrants to the United States. Problems created by the Asian American stereotypes. These stereotypes have affected many generations of people. Due to how long the representations have been ingrained in daily life, many people have grown up unknowingly victimized. The poor communicator and nerd stereotype gives the view that Asians cannot communicate effectively and are only interested in things considered nerdy, like science and mathematics. Since the American business interactions with Asian people and countries began in the 1800s, the thought of them being superior to American life ignited xenophobia in media and workplaces. During World War II, America made mass amounts of anti-Japanese propaganda which depicted them as rats, rapists, and poor communicators, which continued into the 70s. When the Korean, Vietnam, and Cold Wars began, it added Korean, Vietnamese, and Chinese citizens into America's ire, which further strengthened the foreign stereotype and even enticed physical attacks. The 1970s also brought about the socially reserved stereotype, which gives the thought that Asian Americans are meek and are unlikely to approach people, which also helps reinforce the nerd and foreign stereotypes. These stereotypes made it into every type of media, whether it be books, movies, comics, or even cartoons.
Because of the poor reflection of Asian Americans being more studious than social beings, Asian kids and teenagers are significantly less likely to be included in social events with their peers. This could have a detrimental and long-lasting effect on their mental health, and furthers the stereotype created by the media. Not only does it create problems for young children and adults, it also can create tensions between Asian Americans with other minorities by eliciting issues of an even greater racial hierarchy.
Here we have the data chart that was displayed in the article. The chart is a representation of the public's views and opinions on the stereotypes of certain ethnic groups. The chart has data recorded from 169 people from 5 different ethnic backgrounds. The participants were recorded from an introductory communications course in a private university in the Northeast. If we were to only look at the data from the last column that was calculated using the opinions from 5 different ethnic groups, we will find that Asian Americans are thought to be nerdier, more likely to be rejected from their peers, have a higher academic success, and also more likely to have less friends. One thing that might have made the data a bit askew is that most of the perceived stereotypes were recorded from white peers. While 148 white people voiced their opinions, only 21 people from different ethnic backgrounds were recorded in the data. Out of the 169 opinions voiced in the chart, only 4 of those voices were from Asian descent. This is where things get a bit interesting. While Asian American people perceive themselves as being nerdier, more successful in academics, and also having less friends than other cultures, they view themselves as just as likely to be rejected by their peers as somebody with a Hispanic or Latino background.